the 10 things you never miss to follow for good health. So maybe you are expecting that one thing to do in the morning before food, one thing to do it in the evening after food, twice daily, thrice daily, which is usually the model of prescription of doctors. One tablet in the morning, one green pill in the evening to keep ourselves healthy, which is not at all the approach of Ayurveda. Here, Ayurveda, we are used to enable ourselves. Ayurveda, we are using to make us evolve, to follow a lifestyle, to follow a manner which brings health and which reduces the risk of imbalances. So, in my meeting or in my consultation, I always prefer, I always want people to enable themselves to understand themselves better and understand what is good for them, what is not good for them, rather than doing a very a typical kind of prescription. So, whatever I am going to tell you today, it's more functional elements, which is to maintain our health, which is to reduce the risk of imbalances, and which is to keep our body rejuvenating. That is the idea behind sharing these points. So the first one you can see here. mm, Stop doing crime against our wisdom. This is what I wanted to do as the first point, which looks little bit funny for you, like stop doing crime against the wisdom, which is the base of our beginning of imbalance, or which is the base of the reason of our imbalances. Many time we know what is good for us, or many time we know what is not good for us. We often neglect it. We often uh, have a ignorance towards it, and that makes many imbalances. So willful indulgence, we know that drinking this kind of liquids are not good for us, or getting up late is not good for us, having stress in our life or too much stressful activities are not good for us, or all these kind of things in our life, even though we know that it is not good for us, still we do that, still we somehow keep on doing these things, which brings a lot of imbalances. Common regular mistakes which we are doing: overeating, wrong eating, eating junk foods, eating late, not doing exercise, or related to stress or whatever. We know that it is not good for us, or it is going to bring imbalance to us. And some many time when I ask this point in the consultation, they often, or the people often smile. There is a smile on their face, a smile, a naughty smile, which means that they know that, but still we do that. uh, I know that it's not good for me, but still I enjoy myself doing that mistake, which is against our wisdom. And in a deep terminology, we have to take it as a crime against our body. And whenever we do a crime, we will be punished. If not by the law, the body natural law will definitely uh, punish our functions. So support our conscious and improve our knowledge, and apply that knowledge in our life, and don't indulge in things which are creating imbalances. Don't or reduce the amount of mistakes which we do, will also bring health. And this is one of the main point. And it is also, we can see like how much we indulge in things, how much we uh, activate ourselves, activate our sense. For example, we are doing something in extreme way. We always do something in an extreme way. This will create an imbalance. If we watch television all the time, or if we use the mobile all the time, or even if it is our job, we are so much involved in it, and we don't take care of our body. We always do our job and we don't take rest. So that extreme doing of anything which imbalances our life, or which will create different kinds of imbalances. Also, not doing things enough. So a person who is not doing enough exercise, a person who is not eating enough food, or a person is not even motivated, this all kind of things on the extreme, whether too much or too less, this all create different kinds of imbalances. And many times the big or the chronic problems or very serious problems happens from very small and common mistakes. But the common mistakes, when we do regularly, the common mistakes when we do regularly, that will result in serious problems. I always tell, like taking shower after food, or taking shower in the night, or taking late dinner, or avoiding breakfast, fasting, junk food. All these things are common mistakes and simple mistakes. But these simple mistakes which we do regularly will create a lot of chronic imbalances. So we stop doing crime against our wisdom, and we, with our knowledge, we support our conscious and improve our health. So we go to the next point after the mistakes which we do. Next, this is a very important point which many people are not aware about. Even in Ayurvedic knowledge or Ayurvedic education, or in consultations, or in different kinds of seminars or things like that, these points are not so much discussed. So one very important point again is this physical urges. Ayurveda classifies urges into two. One is physical urge and one is mental urge. Both these things are important to follow to maintain our health. The first thing I am communicating with you is the physical urge. So physical urge is any urge physically which we have. For example, burping or belching or hunger or thirst or going to the toilet or sneezing, crying, sleep. So all this kind of urges which is supported by vata. What here we have to understand is that this stimulation of the urge, or the motivation of the urge, or the function of this urge is supported by vata or air element in our body. So for example, we are getting a burp. The air which is coming from our smaller part of the intestine to the stomach to the upper mouth and coming out, this air or this propulsion force is supported by the air. And when we kind of suppress that propulsion of the air which is generated by the body, and if we suppress it regularly, so because of many reasons, either we are in a meeting or we are with people, or it is not polite to do it like that, or for many different reasons, and we develop a habit of suppressing our burping, which will create lot of air related functional abnormalities in the body. It can even create heart attacks. So many times we don't know why people get heart attacks or why people get different imbalance. Just suppressing the natural physical urges can create chronic imbalances. So going to the toilet, whether it can be urination or it can be stools, bowel movement. So we suppress it because we are traveling, or we don't like the toilet, or we are in a situation, or we are doing job, or we are in a class. We suppress it. Suppressing it once itself will create imbalance. Imagine when we suppress it very often, regularly, how much vata imbalance it can create. Because elimination in the form of urination or bowel movement is again supported by the vata, which helps these toxins or these waste materials to go out of our body, where the propulsion force is air, which supports this function. And when vata generates the force to eliminate this eliminating material, we suppress it by holding it. we keeping it hold, and we are not letting the air energy to flow properly. This will again create a tension in our body. This will again create a tension locally in this eliminatory organs or eliminatory channels, and this air can take a reverse travel, because body is having a law of traffic, like how we have in the street. It also has a law of traffic. There are certain air energy. There are 5 different kinds of vata, 5 different kinds of air energies which is moving in our body. One is from top to bottom, one is from bottom to top, one is vertical, one is horizontal. This kind of different directions are there. It's, let's say it is like a one-way program, and if the one way is rule is not followed, there is a car coming opposite or there is a vehicle coming opposite in the one way, how much damage it can happen. It can be just a sudden break to a death, to a calamity. So when we suppress our air energy, when we suppress our air energy or air function which is generated in the body, even one time, I'm not talking about many times, even one time if you do that, it creates imbalance. So many times people get headaches while traveling, while after a meeting or things like that, while after a big engagement. It's not because that they were stressed, or it's not simply because that they were traveling. Many times we escape or we skip our feeling of going to the toilet, or feeling of thirst, or feeling of hunger, or the natural feeling of our body. Many times we suppress, and that create this kind of imbalances. And this is the reason of disease in many people and in many conditions. Many times these unidentified reasons of many disease comes into this. It, as I told you, it can be happening from a muscle cramp to the allergic rhinitis, to the headache, to the migraine, to the hair fall, to the heart attack, to the blood pressure, to the reproductive organ damage. Anything it could be, uh, from suppressing the air energy, flow of air energy in the body. We know that we can when you functionally visualize it, if you are trying to suppress the air energy with your hands, and air energy is so strong inside, how long you can suppress it. And even if you suppress it, this air energy will redirect itself into the other areas and put pressure in the other areas. So functionally we will get into difficulties if we suppress the uh, physical physical urges. Then the next one is the Mendel urges, which you can see, which you can see here. So, like physical urges, which we should not suppress. There are some urges of the mind which we need to control. So, on the body level, we should not control it. We should let it flow normally and smoothly. But when it comes to the mind level, we need to control it, or we need to regulate it ourselves. So, regulating it is very important. In Ayurveda, the first quote of Ayurveda says that raga is the reason for disease. Raga means mental desire, mental wish, which are mostly imbalanced. So, any imbalanced mental desire or mental wish can create deep problems for the mind and also for the body. Also, Ayurveda says that there is always a presence of mind in any kind of imbalances which we are having. There is always the presence of mind. The role of mind is always there in any kind of imbalances we are having. So the mental urges are the urges which we need to control ourselves, which we need to really observe ourselves, witness ourselves, and regulate ourselves. When we are not healthy, we are not able to control or regulate these mental urges. At the same time, these mental urges can create imbalances in our body and mind. So greed is one among that, which we know. If we have greed, it can create to different kind of wishes, different kind of situations which we have, which we spoil our mental balance, and that will spoil our routine, that will spoil our calmness and create lot of imbalances. jealousy is another thing. Having aversion, extreme aversion to something, that this I will not do or this I don't like. So there is a situation, you know, we develop a hatred towards something, and in our mind we always having that feeling of hatred towards that, and that feeling of hatred always make our mind work and make our routine collapse and make us fall to sickness. So aversion is another thing. The competitive mentality, so many time it's a contradicted point, competitive mentality. So many people ask me, so you think there is no need of competitive mentality, then how we will be able to achieve things? Competitive mentality only happens when we look outside and refer with things outside or refer with people outside. We only need to think about ourselves, about our body, our mind, and our functions. Then there is no need of any competitive mentality. Then comes the attachment. Attachment is also, we know, if too much of attachment happens, that is not good, which creates again hard emotions and stress in our body. Lust, unsettled lust, is also creating a lot of problems. You know, we all know how much lust can do to people, which is uncontrolled, which can create big issues, which spoils the balance. Anger, anger is also an emotion which can create a lot of pitta vata imbalances. So a person is already having pitta nature or vata nature, and anger is a emotion which he gets often. This again increase the fire element in the body, the air element in the body, and create lot of vata pitta imbalances. Fear, fear is also vata increasing and pitta increasing, which is reducing the kapha nature of the body, which is reducing the calm situation of the body, which is reducing the balance of the body and spoiling our health. Grief is also the same thing, which increases pitta vata and reduces the kapha. Anxiety also reduces kapha in the body. So it is not just simply emotions. These emotions and these qualities in the body has impact on our body in the pitta, vata, or kapha doshas, and that will make our body getting imbalance in these three, and we lose our calm and composed nature. So, in order to keep our balance, in order to keep our routine properly, in order to keep our positive attitude, in order to keep our enjoyment of life or joy of life, which supports our life practice, we need to control or regulate our mental urges. So I hope that is clear with you. Then suitability is another uh, thing, another point which we need to follow. This is very important, because this is one point which most of us forget. Even though we want to live healthy, even though we wanted to follow lifestyle recommendations and keep ourselves healthy, many people don't follow the suitability because of the lack of knowledge on it. Suitability is simply a refined selection. First thing is that we all are human beings, and first suitable thing is whatever suitable to human beings. And second thing is that in human being, as being a human being, what is the kind of human being I am? I am a vata human being, pitta human being, kapha human being, or a dual dosha human being, or a three dosha combined human being. Then we have to refine our selections accordingly. So when we are hungry, we eat. This is natural that we eat. And when we eat, most of us don't think what we eat is suitable for our body or suitable for our mind. There are two suitabilities. One is suitable for our body and one is suitable for our mind. And suitable things always bring health, always bring balance. It is also that people can take unsuitable things. For example, some people who are smoking, some people who are drinking, it is not immediately creating any imbalance in them. That is many times the question comes. People, those who are smoking or those who are drinking, not everyone is developing problems. But in again suitability, there are two kinds of suitability. One is positively suitable and one is negatively suitable. So positively suitable means which is helping us to improve our health and which is helping us to rejuvenate ourselves. Negatively suitable is that in direct contact it is not going to create any immediate problems, but it is affecting, it is not helping us to uh, improve our health, it is not helping us to improve our immunity, or it is not helping us to rejuvenate or regenerate. Suitability is very very important. Like when we select a grain, uh, what kind of grain is good for me, what kind of grain is good for my child, what kind of grain is good for my family members. Is wheat is good for me, or rice is good for me, or millets are good for me, or these grains are not at all good for me? We need to understand, we need to know, because that is the, also you can see, many doctors recommend, or many articles recommend people not to take wheat, not to take gluten, not to take lactose, because in some body, in some people, their digestive system or their body functions cannot get in matching with the grain which they take. So in some people wheat is not suitable, in some people rice is not suitable. So it is not that the grains are bad, the wheat is bad, or the rice is bad. It is that my suitability with that is not good. It is that my suitability with that particular grain is not good. So we need to know what is best for me, what is the best suitable thing for me, not only in grain, but also in milk, also in vegetables, also in fruits, also in meat, also in everything which we are eating. And coming to the activity also, we need to have a refined selection on that. What is my suitable action? What is my suitable way of doing? What is the suitable exercise which I can do? My friend is running in the morning, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, and I am not able to do. And from tomorrow onwards, I jump on, get my shoes ready, buy everything new, and start running. I can run 10 days. After that, I collapse. I get muscle pain, I get muscle tear, I get that, I get this. Before checking whether the running is suitable for us, we decided that I am going to run from tomorrow. So we need to know that which physical activity is suitable for me. Is it running? Is it jogging? Is it brisk walking? Is it doing asanas? Or is it cardio exercise? Or it is bodybuilding? When before we select anything, we need to think deeply that is it suitable for me? Is it going to give me health, calmness, and stability, or it is going to affect me negatively in reducing my health, only giving me some sensual pleasure? This is suitability. Regarding the job also, we know many people are satisfied with their job, many people are not satisfied with their job. There are different situations which involved in that. Many time it is not in our hands, so we cannot completely comment on that. But still, suitable job, if possible, if situation allows, it is better to follow suitable job or suitable activity in any way. The next one is acne, the factor acne, which you all know, which is a very common factor which we all are following, or which we should follow. In Ayurveda, we say the strength of the strength of the person is depending on the strength of the acne he or she is having. The strength of the person is very much depending on the strength of the fire or strength of the acne he or she is having. Acne is something which is helping us to transform. So when we get in contact with anything, when we get in exposed with anything, it needs to get into a body friendly form. It can be water, it can be a wind, it can be milk, it can be a person, it can be any stimulus which we perceive through our five senses. Acne is the factor which helps to modulate it, and acne is the factor which helps to transform it into a body friendly nature. So if that is strong, then we can transform or process most of the things, and we will not have chances of indigestion or I'm sorry, I will mute that. So we will not have the problem of indigestion or imbalances. Same like that, the as much as the Agni is strong, as much as the fire is strong, we will not have any kind of imbalances. The moment the fire goes down, the moment the weakness happens in our fire, we will immediately start getting some or other kind of problem. So when the fire goes down, we can feel cold, we may get mucus, we may get different kind of allergic reactions, or we may get indigestions, or we may get weakness, anything. So it is important that we follow a lifestyle, we follow a food style, we follow a holistic way of living which supports the fire. Fire is the strength of metabolism. Imagine if our metabolism is weak, metabolism is hypo, or metabolism is hyper, it can accumulate toxins in our body, or it can make degeneration which depletes our body. It is we who decide what we want. We want a extreme fire level which depletes our body, or we want a weak fire level which kind of accumulates toxins in our body, or we want a balanced fire which helps to metabolize and transform things into our body. Because if our fire is not balanced, it is very normal that we started getting different kind of imbalance. There is no excuse or there is no escape on that. So I would say challenging fire will always burn us. So don't challenge the fire. Every activity we do is having an implication in our fire, starting from what time we get up, what time we eat breakfast, what time we sleep, what activities we do, what we eat, what we think. These all have direct implications in our fire. So everything which you do, or before doing everything, before indulging in everything, just consider the point of fire, how much fire I have, and this activity which I'm going to do, or this food which I'm going to consume, whether it will challenge my fire, or it will help my fire, or support my fire, or the fire can easily digest it or not, or the fire can easily transform it or not. This point you always have to think. You should not forget this point, because this is very, very important in keeping our health. Then knowledge on the seasons, which is also generally known, but I go a little bit detailed into that. We have a many time our problem. Don't take me as an offensive thing that when I say our problem, but it is actually our problem. Even though we more and more realize that we are part of nature, and we have a strong connection with the nature, and we follow the natural laws, but still somehow we separate ourselves from the nature. So for example, we sit inside our office, or we sit inside our room, we look outside through our window, we observe the tree, we observe the nature, we see different seasons. We see sometimes snow, we see sometimes sunrise, we see sometimes leaves are bright red, sometimes green, sometimes there is no leaf, sometimes there is no bark, and we just think it all happens to the trees and plants. We are something separate from it, and this is not happening with us. But exactly what is happening on the plants and trees, of shedding leaves and changing colors of the bark, or changing colors of the leaves, happens in our body also, depending the season, which we never think about. We don't expend our imagination into that level. We always try to separate us from that for the practicality of it. Anyway, these changes are happening. We are also shedding our cells, we are also shedding our leaves, our body is also getting different kind of fluctuations. The body qualities are changing according to the season. In certain season, the speed of circulation in our body is increasing. In certain season, the speed of circulation is reducing. In some season, the temperature of the body is increasing. In some season, the cooling quality of the body is increasing. So when this variation happens, there is a change in the total functionality of the body. And it is important we know that which season impart what kind of quality, which season increase the speed of circulation in my body, which season reduces the speed of circulation in my body. Because if I know that this season is going to increase the speed of circulation in my body, then I can live accordingly in that season. I can reduce the food items which again increases the circulation. I can reduce the activities which is again going to increase my circulation, or increase any quality which is dominant in that season, or decrease any quality which is not at all dominant in that season, to have a balance. This is important. And also we should have the strength and willingness to adapt to the season. We have the same breakfast every day in our life. If people are taking porridge, then some oat milk porridge, or whatever, you put some pumpkin seeds or whatever seeds and add some rice milk, and the breakfast is ready. Or take a smoothie, or this we continue for a long period of time. For us, it's all about January, February, March, April, May. We don't think about seasonal changes in our life. So these seasonal changes should be acknowledged, and our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner should change according to the season. It's not that it creates a big change in your life in the food which creates a lot of difficulty for you. Not at all. It will be minor changes. Either it will be the kind of oil used, or it will be the kind of grain used, or it will be the kind of spices used, which will be more balancing the qualities of that season. Another point which concern to the season is also that every change of season, there is also the tendency of the body to accumulate toxins. So going from some winter to spring, or spring to summer, every seasonal transition, there is a possibility of accumulation of toxins in our body. May not be a very big amount of toxins, but at least some kind of toxins. And that is the reason why many people get affected in some kind of imbalance or other in the change of seasons. So from summer to from winter to spring, we know it's very evident that people get allergies or mucus and things like that. From summer to autumn also, or autumn to winter also, you can see many people get a little bit of depressed feeling, or lack of motivation, or dullness. So this is very normal, because the fire is fluctuating in our body, the qualities are fluctuating in our body, and also some kind of toxins are accumulating in the transition of the seasons. So it is our responsibility to do a minor cleansing. It's not like you go to a treatment center or a retreat, stay there 1 month, 2 months, and do your cleansing. Not like that. Very minor cleansing techniques you can do at home. You just spend 1 day in a weekend, in every 2 months or 3 months, a half day you spend, or few hours you spend, and you clean yourself so that you don't let the body accumulate toxins. So knowledge about changes, strength and willingness to adapt, and preventive measures by changing our food and activities according to the season, and purifying our body for not getting the toxins get accumulated in the system. This is very important, and this only happens with the knowledge of the qualities of the season and knowledge about ourselves. Then another very important point is the daily routine, which you can see here. So what is the secret of health? If someone asks, the secret of health is following the daily routine. Because following daily routine according to your nature, following daily routine according to your balanced function, or according to your tendencies, will help in not accumulating toxins in the body. So daily routine, we know we are following the solar and lunar influence in the body. We have solar influence and we have lunar influence in our body. It is like during the solar time, our body is having more active quality, and during the lunar time, moon period, our body wants to rest, body wants to reduce its amount of activity. So our major activity, our intensive activity, we should limit during the sun time, and more of a relaxed activity leisureful activity and easygoing activity or rest we should do in the lunar time. This is very important. This is one of the major thing which we need to follow in our daily routine, and also following mainly the solar qualities, what time to get up. We all know we have a biological clock in our system, what time to get up, when to eat, how much to eat, when to take shower, how to take shower, how to brush, all these things. So what is the need of daily routine here? You can see 3 points there: detoxing, balancing, and rejuvenating. So when you follow daily routine, any suggestions which is prescribed by the daily routine, whether it can be getting up and drinking a glass of water, or whether it can be getting up on the right side of the body, or it can be brushing with astringent or bitter or hot taste, or it can be doing oil massage, or it can be doing nasya or nasal administration. Any suggestions or any recommendations which is suggested in the daily routine, it does 3 things. One is detoxing. So for example, oil pulling is told in daily routine to take a little bit of sesame oil or coconut oil, or sometime herbal tea or decoctions according to your balance and imbalance. Then you put it in the mouth, you switch it together. It removes the toxins which is accumulated. It removes the toxins which is accumulated from the last previous day digestion or previous day metabolism. Then it also helps to balance the vata pitta kapha. It helps to balance the dry quality, the heat quality, and the cold quality of the oral cavity. Then the rejuvenative factor, which also helps to nourish and rejuvenate our tooth, our gum, our tongue, and our salivary glands, or even other organs also. So detoxing is one thing, balancing is another thing, and rejuvenating. So there are 3 benefits we simply get from following daily routine. And it is not a big effort also to follow daily routine. It's only our interest and our demand or our need for having good health. And definitely we know good health means joy and bliss. Good health means real bliss and ecstasy. So to attain that, to receive that, it is important that we do our basic things properly, and daily routine is very much helping to get the health by doing detoxing, balancing, and rejuvenating. Next point is, of course, yoga and meditation, because health is, I don't know, without yoga and meditation, how one can manage their health or balance their health, or how we can stay away from different kind of imbalances. This is for me very difficult to understand. I so much believe that, or even the science, the Ayurveda also so much recommend that people do yoga and meditation, because we know the connection of body and mind, the relevance of connection between body and mind in Ayurveda, even though it is 2 things, but it is one thing. It is not really 2 things. It is just one thing. It is only 2 different expressions or 2 different combination of qualities. So anything which reflects in the body is also reflecting in the mind. Anything which reflects in the mind is also reflecting in the body. Body is having 3 qualities. Vata. Body is having 3 doshas: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Mind is having 5 things: Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Rajas, and Tamas. So there are 3 things which can get balance or imbalance in the body. There are 5 things which is including 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, can create imbalance in the body and then can connect it to the mind. So doing yoga, doing asanas, or doing yoga, all the ashtanga yoga, doing meditation is also part of it. I just wrote it separately for some people. Basically it's the same. We just take the word yoga. This helps to purify ourselves. This helps to refine our body. This helps to think ourselves better. This helps to have a willpower which we need to follow a proper routine which improves the qualities of our body and mind, which reduces stress in our life, which brings more of connection with the nature, which helps to refine our conscious. So all these factors are very important in making right choices. Right choices are something which is a point which I always again mention, because our health and our destiny so much depends upon the right choice. So right choice is something which we need to make, and to support our conscious to make right choice is done by doing yoga and meditation. In other words, we know the normal explanation of meditation and yoga. It helps to reduce stress, it helps to reduce, make you calm. It's all is there. But above that, to make right choice, to have a better conscience, to evolve better, yoga and meditation is important. And only by doing actions which helps us to evolve better, we can manage and balance our health. Then detoxing is another factor which we need to do. Out of the 10 things, we know even if we follow a good lifestyle, organic food, many things which we can follow, we are following to keep our health. Still, time is a factor, season is a factor which accumulates toxin in our body. Let's say pure water, we keep pure water in a pot, or there is pure water in a lake or a pond, which stays like that for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. This pure water will slowly get into dirty water. It will accumulate different kinds of toxins. It will accumulate different kinds of sediments, even though there is nothing which the water has done to get it dirty. It is the time factor. It is a combination of different factors which makes that water accumulate with toxins, or which makes that lake sediment with toxins. Then in such condition, a purification is very, very necessary. So even though we follow our wisdom and our knowledge, we follow our suitability, we follow our fire strength, we follow our seasonal knowledge, we follow yoga and meditation, still the time factor is a factor which can make our body accumulate toxins. Even though we follow all principles of Ayurveda, still there is a chance that we accumulate toxins in our body, and the body get into trouble. So regular purification, or doing purification once in a while, you understand your time to do purification, because we know ourselves better. And there are times which we feel very fresh, and there are times which we feel down, or kind of heavy, or having feeling of toxins in our body. So such period, such time, it is very, very important that you do detoxification, purification, and it has to be definitely done under medical supervision, because it is according to your body, it is according to your season, it is according to the strength of you, it is according to the strength of the imbalance. So many different factors coming into that. And also there are different kinds of purification therapy, that panchakarma or any other kind. Also selecting the appropriate kind in the appropriate season, in the appropriate way is important. So have a medical supervision for that before you do, but it is must to do once in a while, or whenever you feel that your body is accumulating, because this will remove the dirt in our body, which will help the circulation better, and the blood and the body tissues will not get mixed up with toxins and create imbalances. Then the last one is rasayana, or rejuvenation. This is the 10th factor which we need to also follow, because it's like this, we put a lot of effort to gain our food. We did 1 year work, we went to the field, we ploughed the field, we planted the seed, we watered the field, we put fertilizers, we waited, we prayed, we put a lot of sweat, and finally the crop came and we harvested. And most of the people just stay with that. They harvested and they then simply use it. But there is also an additional step in Ayurveda, which is called rejuvenative therapy, which is called rasayana therapy, which is not only balancing your body by doing proper lifestyle, but also it has a deeper effect of rejuvenation. So you drink milk. Milk has some qualities for the body, and processing the milk in certain way or taking it in a certain time, which is not only balancing your body, which is not only promoting growth in your body, but it is also helping the rejuvenation of the body. For an example, hormones. We know with age certain hormones are, or all hormones are depleting, especially during the menopause or andropause. So to reduce the effect of degeneration of hormones, to reduce the effect of degeneration of hormones, for example into osteoporosis or degenerative problems, if we follow certain rejuvenation principles, if we take food or home remedies which are helping to rejuvenate ourselves, the intensity of the degeneration will be much less. The time where the hormone start declining will be very late. If a person who is following rejuvenation procedures may only start getting degeneration at the age of 70 or 80, but a person who is not following Rasayana or rejuvenation therapy, they may get their depletion, their degeneration can start at even 40 or 45. So even an example of menopause, you can see in the earlier generation or the elderly generation, at least what I understood, there are many people who only get into menopause by 60, 65, 70. There are many people, and even at the age of 70 still there are some ladies menstruating. Or if it is taken with the men, the functional capacity of the men, also in some people it goes to 70 to 80. But now you can see in many women, they are having menopause at the age of 36, 38, 40, 42, 45. This shows that their degeneration, their stage of degeneration starts very early, and it is not only limiting with the menopause, it is not only limiting with the reproductive capacity, it is also degenerating into the deeper tissues of bones, bone marrows, and other things. So rejuvenation is very, very important. For example, you know one herbal combination called Triphala. Triphala is a combination of three fruits. One is amla, another is haritaki, one is vipitaki, terminalia cebula, terminalia bellarica, and amla. These are the three fruits, simple three fruits. You take this combination in a ratio, and you have it with a little bit of ghee and little bit of honey in different proportion. This helps to rejuvenate our body. You take it from the early age, from childhood or from teenage, throughout your life. This is helping to reduce the acidity of the body. This is helping to remove the toxins in our body. This is helping to reduce the extra dryness in our body. This is helping to reduce every factor which is making us depleted, which is making us toxic. So Rasayana procedure to follow, Rasayana principle to follow in our life is also very, very important, because just reaching the edge of having health itself is a big effort, and maintaining that health is a bigger effort. So to maintain that health, following Rasayana or following rejuvenation is very, very important. And these are the 10 points which I wanted to share with you, which you should follow in your life to balance your health, to prevent the imbalances and things like that. I will go one by one again. The first one is the crime against the wisdom. So it is the ignorance of our intelligence. I would say like this: it is the ignorance of our intelligence. We know that this is not good for me, but still I indulge in it. We know that this is not good for me, but still I use it. Or I know that this is good for me and I don't do it. This is a crime which create imbalance. This is the first thing which this is the primary and the first thing which is creating imbalance in our system. So you can see, you can decide whether you eat apple or junk food, and we know apple will be much better, but still our taste, our cravings will going to have this salty food and refined flour, and because somehow we like to enjoy that, even though we know it is not very good for our health. Then physical urges, I told, this is very, very important. If you want to know more about physical urges alone, we can even have a session alone for that, even because there are 9 different kinds, and every different kind, if it's suppressed, it has different kind of imbalances. Basically, you need to take like that our air energy in the body, our function of air in the body is having a direction of movement, and when we suppress our urges, this direction of movement is being blocked, and when this direction of movement is blocked as being air, it will start redirecting itself, and it can put pressure on other body functions or other body organs. So that should be also really taken care of to prevent a lot of imbalances. Then mental urges, I told you the importance of balance of mind in following life routine and following the joy of life, and follow to have the inspiration of practice of living. So stay away from it, or try to control it, or to at least to try to reduce it. We should have an intention to stay away from it, even though it is the most challenging in out of all these things. So at least we try, at least we know that these things are creating imbalances to our mind and our body. Then suitability, also keep in your mind, you are a human being, your type is pitta, your type is vata, your type is a combination of pitta vata. I am a petrol engine, I am a diesel engine. If I am a petrol engine, don't take diesel. If I am a diesel engine, don't take petrol. Many other cars will take petrol, but it's not for me. So many other things will, many other people will do many other things, but think whether it is suitable for us or not, related to body, related to mind, related to everything. Then the fire, very, very important factor, which keeps the strength, which keeps the stability, which helps for the transformation. So don't play with the fire, don't challenge the fire. That means try, don't do things which imbalance our fire. Anything, overeating, overacting, wrong eating, too much, too less, so all these things will challenge our fire, and it's not good to challenge our fire, which will make us very, very, very weak. How long we live, the lifespan, the quality of the lifespan is so much dependent on this factor, fire. And knowledge of the seasons, which is also very important, that I told you the qualities are having variation in our body depending the season, the cool quality, the hot quality, this all are changing. So accordingly we eat, accordingly we live, and also we have the willingness to adapt the changes of the season, and do preventive measures by changing food and things like that. Also do mild purification, very, very mild purification, like a half a day or a small procedure which let the toxins go out of the body. Then the daily routine, which I told you, the connection between sun, moon and the body, and the daily routine helps us to detox, balance and rejuvenate. And these are the three things which we need to keep our health and not to get into imbalances. Then yoga meditation. This maybe you all know better than me what is the role of yoga and meditation. But as I told you, mind is the factor which is having influence in everything. Keeping our mind stable is very, very important. And the yoga and meditation is having direct access to the mind. It also has, I mean, it is not that I'm telling it doesn't have access to the body, but it has a direct access to the mind, which helps to refine our mind and purify our mind. And if once the mind is more purified or more refined, then our activities also will be more refined and more balanced. So adapt yoga and meditation, or do yoga and meditation regularly, and practice it according to your comfort, but having the intention to do it regularly, which also will help us to keep away from imbalances. Detoxing, I told you by an example of keeping water in a pot or water in the lake. Whatever we try to do, still it create different kind of or still naturally with the time factor it can accumulate toxins in the body. So drainage or purification is necessary. So thinking that I am living healthy and I don't need purification is not logical. Purification is necessary for people who are living healthy, or living people who are living non-healthy, but it depends what kind of purification and how intense is the purification. Then rasayana is a rejuvenation is the unique factor which we all have to be careful. Sometimes I even think to specialize a separate field of rejuvenation to the people, because it's so huge, the amount of things and the detailing of rejuvenation in the body, starting from the birth to the death. There are many things, many food things, many activity things which is helping us to rejuvenate. So follow any kind or some kind of rejuvenative principles in our life, which helps us to keep stable and reduce the degeneration. So these are the 10 points which I wanted to share with you, to convey with you. And I hope you liked the explanation and you understood the explanation. So not only understanding but also applying is very important. So this is the thing. And I also wanted to take this opportunity also to introduce you into a online program which I am planning to do. This was never in my mind to do an online program. I was one of the person who always stay away from computer and digital platform, because it sometimes feels artificial for me. I like to be with the people just half a meter away from me. So but the situation is like this. So I thought of taking use of this opportunity to convey the knowledge of Ayurveda with the people, the basic knowledge of Ayurveda with the people. So I put a program title like this: Refine a Life with Right Choice. So having right choice and doing right choice is very important. So at least share the knowledge or educate the people to have proper knowledge which help them to take right choice, and right choice will lead them to do right activities which are suitable for them. So this is the aim of it. And the detail of this course, I will share. I will share with you the. I'll share the link with you, so you can go to the YouTube and you can watch the video and see what all I am intending to do there. It includes online lectures on different programs and short courses like a 6 months to 1 year subscription, once or twice in a month, 1 or 2 hours on different topics, and also online consultations. And this course is this. I don't know whether it can be called as a course. It's basically a talk. It's basically sharing the knowledge and making the people educated to have right actions in their life, or to inspire them, to remind them. Many people know what is good, but a reminder is needed. So to have a long standing relationship with the people, a long standing follow up with the people, to educate them, to remind them what is good. And also by that I also will get reminded myself that these things are not good to do. So reminding you and reminding myself is the intention of having this program. I will share with you the link in the chat box, so you can go and watch the video, or you just go to the YouTube and put my name Vaidya Abhilash Anand. You will get my clips. Then yeah, so that's it. Enjoy the bliss of life, and thank you very much. If